I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
What's goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a Bowlberry biscuit. This is the game. This game right here in San Francisco at 4:05 p.m., which I don't like that much. I don't like 4 o'clock games. I don't like too much change when it comes to my NFL games. I like my 1 p.m. games. But this game right here is the real test. Now, we've gone and won 4 games straight with a backup quarterback, really good running back, great defense, but none of that matters to anyone because the Niners are going to be who just about everyone outside of the fan base decides to base just how good the Panthers really are to this almost halfway point of the season. Yeah, that's about halfway point of the season, actually. And I am okay with that. Because even though Vegas opened up with us being 6-point underdogs or 5.5 by this point, this is a pretty even matchup. I don't think enough people are actually understanding and are actually looking deep enough into this matchup to understand these two teams are borderline mirror images of each other in a lot of different ways. And I'll get to those in a second. But I want to mention a few things before I get to the actual game. Things that happened before the game and things that might affect the game. Things that people may not have actually thought about affecting the game. First off, earlier this week, the Niners made a move. They traded for Emmanuel Sanders. And I think this move right here was for 2 different reasons. One, because obviously, look, the Niners offense, they don't pass the ball. I thought the Panthers had a kind of, I'll say what it is, a kind of mediocre passing offense. The Niners passing offense is only slightly better than ours. We averaged 225 yards with our backup. They averaged 241 yards with their franchise guy they put the bag on. The 49ers are 6-0 because of their defense and their running game, but let me not get ahead of myself. Emmanuel Sanders, on the wrong side of 30, but he is 5'11", he's fast, he's a productive receiver. Is he a culture changer for most teams? Probably not. But for a team that doesn't have much of a pass culture at all right now, he can change the look of their team, their scheme. I don't know how much it's going to change to get away from running too much. But he's going to be someone that can allow them to do more things in the pass game than they were before. But that's only the first reason. The other reason I think the 49ers picked up Emmanuel Sanders is because there are reports that the Panthers are looking to trade for Emmanuel Sanders. So they get to have another receiver, or really their first receiver, and they can take away a potential weapon from their upcoming opposition. That's not a really bad move strategically. So I have to respect what they did there, but I'm not going to sit here like I'm in fear of Emmanuel Sanders. Am I in fear of Emmanuel Sanders? No. Will those words come back to bite me on Sunday afternoon? No. I actually want Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball. Don't run at all. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball as much as he possibly can. Let me get into that too. Now, for some people, when you look at the games and you look at how you're going to predict how games are going to go, previews and whatnot, there's a certain element that I think gets understated sometimes, and that's weather. And for the most part, we think about weather as, is it sunny or is it raining? Or maybe even snowing in December or late November. But another very important factor in weather is wind. And wind can have a very, very big impact on games and how plays are called. From what I'm seeing right now as I'm recording this video, the forecast for Sunday in San Francisco is mad windy. I saw 27 miles an hour on Sunday afternoon. That doesn't affect only kicks, which is going to be really, really hard. It's going to be a defensive game, so kicks are going to be very important in this game. That affects how quarterbacks throw the ball, especially into the wind. Even going with the wind, it has an effect on the ball. The ball can get lofted up. You can be throwing it on target, and it catches the wind a little bit, gets a little high, gets out of the way of a receiver, and the defense can pick it off. It's going to be a very, very run-heavy game, kind of like as if it was a rainy game. I would not be surprised if either one of these quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo or Kyle Allen, hit 30 pass attempts. In fact, over 25, and I would start saying, oh, maybe. And we know that maybe the wind can come down. Weather can change in a matter of a few days. But if it's being forecast at 27 miles an hour right now, probably goes down to only like 20 or like 18, which is still gusting. It's still really high. That can really affect the game. I think this is going to be a ground and pound game, which I think it was going to be to begin with anyway. Like I mentioned at the top, these are two running teams. Simple as that. Even with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders, I don't think the Niners get away from what's won them these games. Defense and ball control through the run game, the Niners are second in the league in rush yards per game at 172. They have 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. And that kind of looks kind of bad for us because the Panthers are actually 23rd in rush defense, allowing 119 rushing yards a game. It looks like a really good matchup, a really good scheme for the Niners to stick to. It's windy, it's what they already do, and they're going against an opponent that cannot really stop the run we don't do it that much. I mean, when you're allowing over 100 yards, almost 120 yards on the ground a game, it's tough. Now, in years past, we saw that we were really good against the run, and the pass was our really weak part. And sometimes that was because teams were running on us, and they were having really good days on the ground against us, but they realized very quickly, we don't have to run the ball against this team. We can just go ahead and just pass it and get our yards like that. So we wouldn't have a lot of rush yards against us, so our rank would look a lot better than it actually was. That's not the case right now. If you're allowing over 120 yards on the ground per game, it's really tough. And with this three-headed monster, and I'm not saying that it's not a 1A, 1B. This team runs three running backs: Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, and they have Matt Breida. Now, Tevin Coleman, we've seen a lot. There's a lot of film on him from when he was with the Falcons, so we should be able to see some. Although when he was with the Falcons, even just last year, this man Tevin Coleman did some work. Matt Breida is more like the change of pace, but he's kind of a home run threat. You give this man a little bit of space, he can get going in a real big hurry. Matt Breida scares me a little bit more than Tevin Coleman, to be honest with you. And Mostert just comes in sometimes. I don't really have much of an idea about how I feel about him. He's just another running back, in my opinion. I don't really have that much faith in the pass game, like I mentioned, so I'm not going to really talk about the Niners' pass game. Even though they did pick up Emmanuel Sanders and they have George Kittle, we have really good coverage linebackers. And I also think Eric Reed, if he's given the assignment, can do pretty well against George Kittle. I don't believe he's going to get a touchdown in this game, so I'm cool with that. My real concern, and everyone's real concern, with the Niners is that run. If you can limit what they can do on the run, and with this win being an extra defender for the pass game, I think the Panthers have a really good chance at making something happen. Now, on the offensive side for the Panthers, it's going to be tough because obviously we know what we got with Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, easily the best running back in the game. A top 3-4 player in the entire league. And he's only top 3, maybe closer to 4 in the league because we know how highly valued quarterbacks are. We can't escape that. I mean, we understand Christian McCaffrey is not more valuable than a top quarterback. It is how it is. It's the NFL. The MVP should not be it should be a best quarterback award and then a most valuable offensive player award. If you're a quarterback, you already have a wildly unfair advantage over the whole field. It should be two different awards, but enough about that. Christian McCaffrey can do a lot of work on the ground, through the air, and we've only seen him stopped by the Bucs. I don't believe that a lot of teams can do what the Bucs have done because no other team has yet. And even though the Niners are the number 7 run defense, they've only allowed 90 rush yards a game. 90 rush yards a game and only allowed 1 rushing touchdown on the year. They ain't played Christian McCaffrey yet. Unless they have played someone even close to the talent of Christian McCaffrey. I don't know. Highly doubt it. There ain't too many players in the league, or even in the history of the league, who have the talent of Christian McCaffrey. So, I'm 100% straight on that. I think we can do some work there. But if we're really going to beat this Niners team, we might have to show them some different looks with Christian McCaffrey. Maybe bring in Reggie Bonifant. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to expect to see Jordan Scarlett. I don't see it happening. But what I think will be a really big strength for us in this game is that the win may not really affect our pass game as much as it may affect other teams in this situation because our pass game is pretty short. Now, we did try to go deep downfield sometimes last week or 2 weeks ago. Didn't really work all that well. Slants, these swings out of the backfield, some of these shorter crossing routes, screens. I expect to see some screens happening in this game. Get guys out in space. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. These are guys who thrive in space. Get these guys the ball and then get out their way because they can make dudes miss. Curtis makes dudes miss. DJ will break through tackles, and it sometimes works against him because he has been kind of a fumble hound sometimes. So we'll have to see how that works out for us. And speaking of fumbles, when we do pass the ball, we need Kyle Allen to hold on to the ball because this Niners defense is coming. Now, we know our offensive line is way overproduced. And honestly, every single member of the offensive line coaching staff needs a raise. Maybe needs to be a head coach somewhere. I don't know. They've done some crazy things with third-day guys over the past several years, most notably with Andrew Norwell, now with the Jags, who we beat up on. But I'm not going to lie to you. We have a really good offensive line. This Niners defense is really good at getting sacks. They have 20 on the year, which is tied for 5th. But the point is, we're not playing scrubs here. The Niners are actually the #1 pass defense in the league, only allowing 133 yards through the air per game and only 5 passing touchdowns this year. That's kind of crazy. But even with that, I still have confidence in Norv Turner's offense. If we can do things that we were doing earlier on in last year's season, with more pre-snap motion, more things that get the defense eyes moving, more things to make you think, make you say, okay, wait, what's happening here? What's that guy doing? He's going back in motion. Is he going to get a swing pass out the backfield? Is he coming around to get an end around? Is it going to be a fake here and a flip to McCaffrey? What are we going to see from these guys? I think this is the game where you have to get these guys moving, and even more importantly, you have to get your tight ends involved. Get these linebackers moving around. Greg Olsen in the flats or sitting down in the zone. Maybe see Ian Thomas sometimes go out for routes. I've seen and heard different explanations as to why he's not playing. Won't entertain that anymore. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this game is not impossible to win. Now, we may have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer because the Niners are really good at holding on to the ball. They're actually, I think they average 34 minutes of possession with that crazy run game. So we're going to have to get a little bit more. We're going to have to be a little bit more stingy with the ball on our end. But this game will really be, I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a low-scoring one. 2 good defenses, not really great pass offenses, and it's going to be mad windy. I expect to see some missed field goals in this one. Field goals with an S. The best way for me to predict how this game is going to go in 5 words or less, least clutch team loses. Or, yeah, that's 4. That's 4. So, yeah, least clutch team loses. This is going to come down to who wants it more later. And I think it's going to be a field goal game. Very defensive. There will be turnovers. I'm thinking 14-17. 14-17, maybe 14-20. We cannot have mistakes. Limit all mistakes. You have to be clutch. Don't expect to see too many passes in this game. We have to stop the run. Stop the run. Make this man, Jimmy Garoppolo, be a quarterback. Let the W come to you. It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to say 14-17. Panthers. 14-17 Panthers. That's all I got for you right now, man. What are your thoughts? Score predictions, stat predictions. Anything I missed here? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to support the channel, there are ways to do that in the description below. And as always, you already know to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.